Today we are installing Ken's BoltOnHooks new seat springs. You know, a lot of times we find ourselves in precarious situations, and in this case, my dad found himself either needing to eat less cheeseburgers or get new seat springs. So we chose to get new seat springs.
It's a lot easier than dieting.
Yeah, cheeseburgers are pretty good. For this project, we're going to need pliers, a 3/16 Allen wrench, an 11mm wrench or socket, Ken's instructions, maybe not a stuffed tractor, but definitely Ken's springs from BoltOnHooks.com. This is Johnny again, and first thing we gotta do is flip up the seat and take out a little safety pin thingy that's on, yeah, that thing right there. I don't know what it's called.
Well, it's a little spring clip of some sort. Deere seems to use some quite unique spring keys. So I'm just going to put a little pressure on that right there and slide that right on up over with a regular pair of pliers.
Alright, that is quite the interesting shape.
Yeah, but really the only business piece of it is the part that goes through, and then this one spring piece that holds it in place.
We need to take the retaining rod out, but we can't as it is because the seat is folded up and there's a lot of pressure on that right now. So we'll go ahead and fold the seat down, and that retaining rod should just slide out. Alright, that was much easier with the seat down than it would have been folded up.
Now?
So now the seat should just come right off. That was the only thing holding it down, and there it goes. Wow. And Johnny is now seatless. That's alright. We'll get it back on there soon. Next, we need to remove 2 stop bolts. And we found that we needed a 3/16 Allen wrench for the outside portion of the stop bolt, and then an 11mm socket for the inside.
You could use a wrench too, but a socket's probably handier.
So if you've unpacked any IKEA furniture lately, you might have a Allen wrench just hanging around. This would be a good time to use it.
I don't know if it's the same size or not. Probably not. I would think that would be metric.
That's true. Or Swedish. No, it's metric.
You think Swedish metric is different than other metric?
I'm not sure. All their books in IKEA are in Swedish, and that makes me really upset, so I don't even know what they got going on.
Mainly because you don't know Swedish, so.
Yeah, if I knew Swedish, I'd be happy.
I've had to put the Allen wrench in to screw the bolt head out in each case. It's just a tight enough fit that it won't come out on its own.
So at first, I didn't really see why taking the stop bolts out would make any difference because they don't seem to be attached to anything. But we found that once you take the stop bolts out, that part can come up a little bit higher, which allows you to remove the springs and install the new ones without having to compress them yourself, which is a larger help than it might sound like. I tried to stand on the springs and I couldn't hardly compress them, so.
Well, it's one thing to compress them, it's another thing to hold them compressed to get them under there. And so from my prior experience, it's holding them compressed and getting them in there can be difficult. You probably could do this without removing those stop bolts, but this just makes it a little bit easier, and it wasn't difficult at all to do.
Yeah, all right. Our last step before we install these is to put on the spring guides. And an optional but quite fun extra step would have been to paint these. And I was thinking like a bright pink. What do you think, Dad?
Well, I don't know. I think it needs to be either black or green, John Deere green or John Deere yellow.
Well, now that you mention it, John Deere green's probably better than bright pink.
I don't know that I could sit on bright pink springs.
Oh, I think you could. But
you think they would hold me up?
But I think Johnny might just reject them.
Yeah, he might.
They might not work if you paint them pink. So our advice is paint them John Deere green. We are now installing the springs.
Okay, and I'll show you on this other side. I just fit this right under that rod that you see right there.
And because we got the seat up a little bit, we don't have to compress them.
Right, they just slide right under.
So there we have it. Our seat should now be rated at 260 pounds, which should be enough to support my father in his cheeseburger addiction.
Yeah, let's go get a cheeseburger. I think that'd be good.
I'd be all right with that.
Get a cheeseburger for lunch. Because now I can afford to eat an extra one.
All right, let's go. These will go back on in the, I guess, reverse order of how they came off. So we will put the stop bolts back on. There's the second stop bolt. Again, that was a 11mm wrench or socket and a 3/16 Allen wrench. Here comes Johnny's seat.
Why haven't you washed this seat, Catriel?
I was busy. Last week was finals week. Sorry, it's on my winter break to-do list. Once the bolt there is back in place, the seat should be pretty stable, and we will lift it up. Reinstall the spring key. Again, very interestingly shaped. And we should be able to put the seat down. Go ahead and try it out, Dad. What do you think?
More cheeseburgers!
Yay!
I don't bottom out.
You don't bottom out. Perfect. So we rate this a complete success. Absolutely. Catriel's stamp of approval.